Hello, in this Sanford Harmony lesson, we're going to focus on lesson 4.2, Name That Conflict Style. The key concepts are it is important to practice approaches for resolving conflict. People use different strategies to resolve conflict. It is important to recognize the strategy we use most often. Conflict resolution goals are typically best achieved when you use assertive styles such as the solution finder to resolve conflict. Why is it important to understand how we and others handle conflict? Well, we can be aware of what we do when faced with conflict and learn how to handle it better. It's good to know how others handle conflict so we can put ourselves in their shoes. It will help us have better relationships. The three styles of resolving conflict involve the turtle, the owl, and the shark, which we previously talked about in lesson 4.1. But as a reminder, the conflict avoider is known as the turtle. How do people respond in this type of conflict resolution? Well, if you're a conflict avoider or the turtle, they walk away during a conflict, change the subject, avoid bringing up topics, or ignore the conflict. We also have the owl, which is known as the solution finder. How do people respond when using this style? Well, they talk with the other person about the disagreement, state their feelings, listen to the other person, ask questions, work towards a mutually satisfying solution, and offer many different solutions. The owl is what we should all strive to be, the solution finder. And finally, we have the shark, which is the conflict controller. The shark responds as if they try to win at any cost. They can be physical, hit or push. They can yell, criticize, interrupt, threaten, refuse to give in, insist their position is correct. Not always the best way to resolve conflicts. So our task today is to fill out a Google Forms questionnaire. During this questionnaire, you're going to find out and learn a little bit about yourself and what type of conflict resolution type person you are. Are you the owl, the shark, or the turtle? So what you're going to do is you're going to open up a Google Forms when this video is over. It's going to look just like this. You're going to make a prediction. What do you think you are? Do you think you're more the turtle? Are you a conflict avoider? Are you an owl, the solution finder? Do you feel like you're a shark, the conflict controller? Now, there's no right or wrong answer here. You think about how your actions are, what you do, and think about if you are either the shark, the owl, or the turtle. Then you're going to answer some questions that describe yourself. I'm going to read these questions here, so in case you want to refer back to this video, you are welcome to do so to have these questions read to you. So the questions that best describes yourself. You're going to select 1, which is rarely or never, 2, sometimes, or 3, usually. I avoid bringing up topics my friend and I argue about. So do you feel like that never happens, sometimes, or usually? You're going to select 1 answer. I argue with my friend without giving up my position. I keep quiet about my views to avoid disagreements. I suggest we work together to create solutions to disagreements. I raise my voice when trying to get my friend to accept my position. I offer many different solutions to disagreements. I insist my position to be accepted during a conflict. I hold back rather than argue. I calmly discuss differences when I disagree. I refuse to give in when my friend disagrees with me. I keep my feelings to myself when I disagree. I talk openly about our disagreements. I keep arguing until I get my way. I listen to my friend's point of view when we disagree. I avoid my friend when we disagree. Now, the next part is a little tricky, so listen carefully. For question 1, it says write the number of your answer to questions 1, 3, 8, 11, and 15. Then add the numbers together and write the sum below. So what you're going to do is go back to questions 1, 3, 8, 11, and 15. So look back at question 1 and maybe you had a 2. Maybe if this was selected, you'd have a 2. So keep 2 in mind and you can type 2 plus, go back to question 3. Maybe you had, 3 selected, and if this is here, notice that represents 3. So I'm going to go plus 3 And then I go to 8, find 8. Oh, maybe I have 1 selected. Plus 1, plus I have 11 and 15, so maybe I have a 2 and a 1. Notice here's question 11, so that means 2 and 1, which equals 5, 6, 8, 9. So I'm going to keep that 9 there. Now notice here, I'm going to do the same thing for question 2 and question 3. But they're asking to do the same thing, but for different question numbers. So this time, go back to question 4, go back to question 6, record your number answer. If you got a 1, 2, or 3, then you're going to add those numbers together. Do the same thing for question 3. Then, finally, which question did you score the highest on? Each question reflects a particular approach towards conflict. So, determine what your final answer is for question 1, 2, and 3. Let's say question 1, I had the highest number. Okay, 9 was my largest number. Maybe I had a total of 5 and a total of 8 for these questions. That means question 1 had my highest sum. So I'm going to select question 1 here. That's telling me that I am a conflict avoider. Now you can go back and let's see my prediction, conflict avoider. So maybe I predicted I was a turtle or maybe an owl, and that's okay. But this questionnaire is showing that the decisions you make every day represents that you typically choose to be a conflict avoider when dealing with conflicts and resolving your conflicts. Now again, there's no right or wrong answer here, but it just reflects on some of the strategies that we use every day. Now, hopefully after you complete this questionnaire, you'll learn a lot about yourself and how you really do resolve conflicts. Do you do it well? Maybe we can improve. Maybe you are a solution finder. Maybe you can use this as some confidence to hopefully resolve conflicts in a better way than maybe you have done in the past. But again, there's no right or wrong, but we do learn from our mistakes. And by understanding other points of view and different ways to resolve conflicts, hopefully we'll find the best way to resolve conflict that works for you, that will give you a positive outcome. And as you go through this, you're going to find that if you are an owl, the owl or that solution finder typically will give you always a positive outcome when resolving conflicts. So as always, you can refer back to this video if you're stuck on anything through this activity. I encourage you to rewatch if you have any other questions regarding lesson 4.2.